yesterday's P&L. Today's P&L. Yesterday's P&L. Today's P&L. How are you doing? Morning, Ladder. Morning, Johannes. Morning, Stevie. Morning, Diamond. Happy Friday. It's the weekend. Euro Swiss came down. Everybody's happy. Yeah, good day yesterday. 5.71%. Gets rid of the vast majority of that 6.8% loss I had the day before. And everything's looking comfortable. Nothing over 2% drawdown, which is fantastic. So yeah, good day. We like that. Euro helped yesterday a lot, obviously. So if you go back to yesterday's live room, I was not sure this was going to happen in any way. You never can be. But obviously the run-up we had into the rate announcement, there's one of two things likely to happen yesterday. The first one was the rates to be lower than expected because they were going for 0.75. If they came out with a 0.5, it would have tanked the euro. Second, if they came out at the rate, there was likely to be a profit take move because that rate had been factored into the market, which caused the rally anyway. So we got it, which was great. The only way that we could have got hurt yesterday, really, I think, was if the rates had gone up, which was very unlikely because that would have been a 1% increase. So managed to get out of the vast majority of the Euro Swiss yesterday. I was in profit on Euro Swiss twice yesterday. I decided not to close it out because I still have a short bias on the euro after what's happened yesterday. So I decided to just take profit, bank it, and keep the position open, which I've done. So we will see what happens today, but looking for a pullback drop today. So if we get an ADR hit today, I'll get in again. And I'm going to get in aggressive again because I think this is the time for the euro to start its continuation. It's just a lot bigger than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting to get one of these peaks, which we have. So, but I think now we're ready for the drop on the euro pairs. We didn't quite make that resistance there. We did make that one, which is where we've had the reaction. So hopefully that's what I'm planning on happening now with that one. So yeah, good moves yesterday. Got out of a lot of positions. I'm going to wait for this Euro Swiss to complete, and then I might do a video on the entire trade because this entire Euro Swiss trade has been a really good. There's one on YouTube already, actually, an example of a squeeze. I think it's on YouTube, or was it on the old course? I don't know. I think it's a live room extra. I'm not actually sure if they're extracts. Oh, okay. Back testing, how to draw candlesticks, mean reversion. No, it's not in there. Yeah, so I might do that video. Basically, it's a good example of a squeeze and how to get out of a squeeze. And obviously the pitfalls of trying to get out of a squeeze, as you've seen with the aggressive drawdown control positions not working. So it'd be really good when the position's flat, I'll plot every single trade, why I got into it, how I got into it, how I got out of it, what I did to try and get out of the position and how it ended up, and whether or not I made a profit or not, which would be interesting to see. You don't make a profit in every trade. This Euro Swiss might be one of those where I make 1 or 2% loss or something. I don't know. I don't really worry about it. Trade by trade is irrelevant, isn't it? It's your portfolio and this long term, which is what's important. Right, we've got a few minutes to the open. I'm short at the moment NASDAQ on my funded account. Very short NASDAQ. I've already banked 0.7% this morning. And I've got this short running. Can you see that? Got this short running on NAS at the moment. Can't you see it, can you? Which is in Sorry, I haven't taken it on this one. I've taken it on my tablet, which has got a different magic number. So can't actually see the profit, but that's in 0.9% of profit. And I've already banked 0.7 on this morning. Oh, one there. So I've taken this morning from there, just taken it off, and I've got 2 positions on. The reason I'm in this is because of Amazon. Amazon missed its earnings yesterday, dropped 19%. So short NASDAQ this morning. So I shorted it pre-market open in Frankfurt, because I think when the market opens in Frankfurt, I know obviously NAS is nothing to do with Frankfurt. Yeah, I think we're going to find the indices bearish today. So I'll be watching the Dow. I'm going to be trading the Dow this morning. Sorry, not the Dow, the DAX this morning with a short bias. But I want to see an opening range. I'm looking to take an opening range break to the downside. I'll take the trade on here with a small, just with a small risk, just so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to take it obviously full size on the funded account. So yeah, looking to get into a short on the DAX this morning based on those figures. So earnings was a big miss yesterday for Amazon. Amazon. So yeah, big miss. Do you think now is a good time to invest? Not long, no. Stupid question. So yeah, big miss from Amazon. There's quite a few misses going on at the moment across the board. Spotify did well. Not Spotify. Shopify rather did well. There's a few that have performed well, but Apple, they go away. They hit yesterday. It's coming down at the moment, but we should get some counteraction from Apple. So it's difficult to tell what we're going to get this morning. But and Shopify, obviously, we had the pre-market yesterday. You see Shopify screamed up to $35. So yeah, so there's lots of movement yesterday, but overall, everything's kind of balancing itself out. But when a company like Amazon misses, it's a big one. This is a retail giant. They miss their earnings. That tells you that the economy is slowing down worldwide. We're not spending as much money, and Amazon is pretty much the barometer for whether we spend money or not, isn't it? I don't know anybody apart from my mum who doesn't shop on Amazon. Everybody buys everything on Amazon that I know because it's here tomorrow. It's the cheapest possible price you can get, and the shipping's free. Why would you bother buying anywhere else? It's got every product under the sun in one place, and it gets here tomorrow. Stupid not to buy it there, aren't you? Sorry if you don't buy on Amazon, but I'm not calling you stupid, but go and have a look. It's worth it. So we buy everything from Amazon. When Amazon misses, it means we're stopping spending, which means we're going into a recession. So it's just another backup of what's going on in the world at the minute. Overnight news. I'm just conscious the market's just opened. So I'm just watching. Just gonna wait 5 minutes for the initial opening candle. Overnight news. We had the Bank of Japan stuff last night. So the Bank of Japan outlook, monetary statement, and their press conference. Today's news-wise, we've only got the CAD GDP and PCE this afternoon, pre-market at 130. So a bit of volatility potentially on the CAD and the US dollar, but I think we'll have a bit of volatility all over the place today off the back of what Bank of Japan said. So their interest rate decision was to remain at negative. So they're staying as negative 0.1. Forward guidance on interest rates predicts that short and long-term policy rates will remain presented at lower levels. Basically, this is why everything is screaming up against the yen. They're the only country out there that are not doing anything with their rates. Yeah, we're stuffed. You need to increase interest rates, otherwise inflation is going to squash you. And they're not doing it. The only thing they're doing is printing money by massive interventions, and that is never going to get you out of anything. We know that because it hasn't got you out of anything for the last couple of years. Nothing's changed apart from it's all got worse. Bank of Japan, wake up, smell the bacon, and do something about it. Everything that's come out is very much the same. It's all denial. We don't. There's something in here about them. Despite headwinds from an overseas economic slowdown, case in point, Amazon. Yeah, you supply and manufacture everything that goes into Amazon. Amazon sell it all and give you the money. Amazon's slowing down. Wake up, do something about this. Japan's economy is expected to recover due to an increase in pent-up demand. They're living in some other planet. It's like Russia's living in a different planet at the moment. What you see and what's actually going on in the world are completely different. So more intervention from the Bank of Japan, I suspect, coming, because they're not doing anything else about it. So we got basically overnight a whipsaw out of the news. No real movement in any direction, but as you can see, markets woken up this morning and gone, really? Yeah, so business as usual on yen, long, everything long. But caveat, and I'm still not going to trade the yen. At any second, they will step in and do this. So yeah, we need to be looking long because the Bank of Japan are in denial and they're not doing anything about anything. They're not increasing their interest rates. Inflation's going to kill them. And they're in financial crisis. The only thing they're doing is printing money, which is making them even worse. So at some point, you're going to get one of these coming in. But bias on this thing's got to remain long. So for me, I'm too scared to trade it. There's better things out there to trade as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not really interested in the yen at the moment. I was hoping, really hoping they were going to step in and say something logical and do something about this, but they're not. North Korea launches an unidentified ballistic missile into the southeast, into the East Sea. God. Yeah, and that's not going to help them, is it? But anyway, so yeah, that's what came out of Japan last night. Not what I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more of a logical route to getting themselves out of the problems. But Russia and China getting into bed a little bit more overnight as well, and the ECB coming out and saying that yes, we need to do a lot more with our interest rates. Obviously, interest rate rises equals negative move on the currency. So they've come out and said it's not the case that 75 basis points is the new norm. The next rate increase needs to be substantial. Read 75 basis points. So I don't know when they're going to be doing this, but inflation, he says there, is expected to be raised in December. So it's all not good for euro still. All the figures coming out and all the talk coming out is basically bearish euro, which is why I still like the bearish stance. We got a break to the upside on the DAX. They're trying an opening range breakout to the highs. If this fails, I'm going short. So sell stop under the low. Well, that's way too big as a stop loss. No, it's not actually. I'm not going to get too aggressive early on. So yeah, obviously we've opened bearish, we've gapped and opened bearish. I don't think we're going to get a bull move at the open, so I'm taking a short on DAX 1. I'll add as we start to get down into these areas. I'm not going to put the positions too close together. So yeah, yen. What do you do with yen now? Just a mess, isn't it? I'm waiting for intervention. So if we get really extended, again, any 4-hour massive extensions, like I took on that US dollar yen, any big 4-hour extensions, I'd be interested in looking at shorts on it. But as you can see, you know, when you get extended on the 4-hour, it's kind of the sort of thing when you get this. This is why I took this short, wasn't it? We were seeing big orders, big sell orders coming into the market. There's another one there. We got these big sell orders coming in, and then they got bought back up again. So there was intervention starting to show. So that's really the signal I'm going to be looking for on the yens moving forward, I think. Other than that, I'm not really going to trade them, I don't think. But we will see. When is the announcement of the UK budget? On the 14th of November. It's been put back to the 14th of November. Sorry, 17th of November. Was it 17th? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 17th. I think you're right, Ladder. So it was going to be on Monday, and now it isn't. It's probably calendared, I would imagine. Although I don't know if it is. Yeah, so it was meant to be on Monday. I don't know if they would put that in the no. It's not an official budget, an official scheduled budget. It's what they call the autumn statement, which is kind of midterm fiscal policy rather than long term, which is what the budget is. So it's not scheduled on the calendar, but yeah, it is then 17th odd. So we're just testing this propulsion gap pre-market at the moment. See if we can get some sellers stepping in on this one. Might be a bit early on this. We might obviously get a push this morning. Look at that. We just had come in from Kuroda, look. Oh, there you go. Don't expect a rate hike or exit anytime soon. Current interest rates are far below neutral level of interest rates. Current interest rates are far below neutral level of interest rates. That quite makes sense. But yeah, it's the rest of the world. It's not rocket science, is it? The rest of the world are suffering the same way as you are. They're all doing that with their interest rates because they need to. It's just unbelievable to me that a government would not do something about the problem they're in. Stopped out on that initial position. There's the gap on the DAX is there. Sorry, that's the US. Oh, what am I doing trading the Dow? Oops. Oh my God. Wrong instrument. There we go. Oh my God. Yeah, sorry. I'm not with it this morning because I'm trading the NAS. I'm on a different planet at the moment. Yeah, so we got a big gap. Didn't see that. Well done. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I just got over. I basically just got completely blindsided by the Nasdaq this morning. I just wanted to get on the Nas. I haven't paid any attention to the DAX all morning because I've been watching the Nasdaq and expecting that to tank, which is pulling back at the moment, as is obviously the DAX. So we're just having a bit of a pullback on that at the moment. See the Nas, we've got this. This is Amazon. You quite often get these in earnings, yeah? You'll see this a lot. See if there's any other examples. Yeah, there's one there. Look. So you get this a lot in earnings. These earnings that are released, when we get aftermarket and pre-market, the aftermarket earnings aren't always released aftermarket. Sometimes they're released late enough or early enough, if you like, that you get a reaction at end of day. So if you look back here, yeah, earnings release, bang, literally 2 candles before market close. Yeah, look at the volatility there. Earnings release. Yeah, you get these big moves happening right at end of day, and you can make a fortune off of them. I've been in stuff before where I've had a short position on, which I'm looking to hold, and it just tanks and you just get out of it. There's no point in holding it. But yeah, you can make some very good money off that. I haven't actually been stopped out of that trade on my funded account. That one I just got stopped out on the Dow because I'm trading the DAX and my stop is actually 130, 135. It's here. So I'm actually still in this at the moment on my funded. I'm stopped out on this one, but I'll add this position back on when I get back to my entry, which is 13,095. Just about there somewhere. I'll add it back on so we can see it here. NAS massive bearish engulfing. This is what I was looking for on the DAX this morning, was as a big bear move like this. Indices yesterday as well. I was trading yesterday afternoon. Made 2.22% yesterday afternoon. Made 2.05% the day before as well. Been a monster week at the moment on the funded account. Yeah, the indices were really, really, really out of whack yesterday. So we had lots of different movement. We had NASDAQ going one way, Dow going the other way. Really, really, really big divergence across all the indexes because of all these earnings reports coming out. So it's really exciting to trade at the moment. Lots of volatility and lots of fast movement, which is easy to make money out of. So it's a nice earnings fortnight when you're on the right side of it. So just waiting for this to close this candle, just 30 seconds, then we'll have a look at the FX side of things. I get the feeling this morning this might get left behind. This might be one of those gaps that takes a few days to come back to, just purely because the US indices are going to be selling off this morning in all likelihood, which will probably drag the DAX down with it, but we'll see. If we don't get a bearish engulfing on this, might have read this wrong this morning. So we'll see what happens with this candle. So we've got this big bullish engulfing, big bullish bar there. So we need to see a break below that candle. So if this candle and this current candle can break below that candle, I would class that as an outside move and then drop. So we'll see what happens with this candle here. I will add this position back on there when we get there, which isn't far. And we're going to have a look at the FX pairs. Morning, Jacob. New Zealand, US. We'll have a look at that in a sec. How did I miss that this morning? Well, I know how I missed it. I didn't look at it. One track mind this morning. Short tech stock. Just getting close to my entry on the DAX. Come on. So who have we got today? All pre-market, Exxon, Chevron, Aon. So it's all the energy. So we got Amazon, Apple, and Intel. What happens with Intel? Not good. Tech stocks aren't doing well. Okay, a little bit stuck at the minute. Here we go. Come on. Going to get the orders on this morning, the sellers. Oh, that was pretty much it. That spike down there was a couple of points off my entry, which is there. Tell you what I'll do. There we go. That's my entry, basically. Pretty much there. So I'll just leave that to run. Only ADR we've got this morning is my friend Aussie New Zealand. I've added a new position on that one this morning here. So obviously we've got this beautiful double bottom that we've just put in. ADR hit double bottom today. So I suspect we're going to get a load of buying here, which is obviously what's happening at the moment. So I've got another position on. You've got a lovely W. So I got in on the confirmation this morning. The reversal alert was far too far away, basically, on M15. So if you look at M5, we had the reversal alert straight off of ADR, which is also straight off of this double bottom. So basically, I got in after the I got in basically on the retest. So looking basically for this to now push back up from here. How far it's going to go is difficult. So obviously we've got a lot deeper than I was expecting to get on this one. We're in a similar situation to this, basically. You look at the distance there and the distance there. That's pretty much where we got to before we started the next bull run on this. So market conditions are obviously a little bit different at the moment. With the obviously the Aussies not quite getting the interest rate rise that we were expecting, but we got a lovely rejection at the double bottom, and this morning it looks like it's pumping. So I'm miles away. My average is miles away on this, and the reason being is because my entries are so spaced out on this one. Because of the speed of the drop, I haven't managed to get any more positions onto it. So the position that I've just taken is pretty much 2 ADR away from the previous move. So I'm a little bit late on my entry on this. So my plan is, assuming we get up into this balance area there, I want to see kind of a rejection and a push, and I'm going to add another position on to get another one in somewhere around here, assuming that we are going to now start the next leg up and do a bull run off this double bottom, just to bring my average down because I'm a little bit behind the curve on this one. But again, if I get profits on other positions, what I'm also planning to do is just to start reducing these down a little bit, which will obviously bring my average down. So I need to do a little bit of drawdown control on this. I've just managed it badly. I missed an entry basically on this one. So I could basically, because I didn't have the EA managing it for me, I stupidly put the new set file for the EA on this on the VPS, and obviously the new set file for the EA requires you to be above the 72 moving average. And obviously when I put it on to manage it, I suddenly realized we're not above it, and I was already in the position before I put the EA on. So the EA hasn't been trading for me. It's my mistake. Us humans do stupid things, don't we? EAs do as they're told, and I told it not to bother trading if we were below the 72. So it's done exactly as I told it to do. So yeah, so in a little bit of a hole on that one, but it has hit ADR today. They've reached down, double bottoms, limit orders are triggered. We've started a little buying frenzy down here, so we'll see. We will need to get a reverse alert on H4. If we get that, I think we've got a very good chance of getting a bounce and then starting this move back up. Aussie should get stronger. You know, so this is temporary weakness based on the New Zealand dollar strength, the Aussie dollar weakness off of the interest rates. But long term, you know, Australia is a much bigger economy, much bigger country than New Zealand. And they're doing as well as New Zealand. So I don't see any reason why we should see New Zealand taking over on this. They're both commodity rich countries. We need them at the minute. there's no reason why I don't think we'll see more weakness in the Aussie than the New Zealand. So I'm not really too worried about the position. It's also not in a massive amount of drawdown. I mean, 1.7% on it, which isn't the end of the world. And I've got so much profit this month. I could wipe the lot off now, walk away, and just stop. But I don't want to do that. I want to manage it because I still think it's a long. So that's all we've got there. Let's have a look at New Zealand dollar, US dollar quickly for Jacob. So shorts on this, lovely bearish engulfing going on the 4-hour. Just about to get a reversal alert on that as well. Possibly. Yeah, I've got a break there. Got 1.5 hours left on this candle. So I'm just putting another sell stop on the DAX below this low. This is either from here. We're going to do the gap fill. So structure, this will be the new higher low for the move up to the gap fill. Or we're going to break. If we attempt to double bottom on this, I think we're going to break the double bottom. I don't think we'll double bottom bounce this. I think we'll just slam it. So with this, the NASDAQ, look at the NASDAQ at the minute. When my chart updates. But come on, Robo Forex. But yeah, I mean, NASDAQ just made a new low, which is holding very nicely. I've got another percent on that. So yeah, I mean, you look at the US stocks at the minute. I don't think the DAX is going to be able to rally this morning. It's not got any. It ain't going to beat the market. So yeah, New Zealand dollar, US dollar shorts, obviously, at the moment on this one. We are in a weak period with the US dollar at the moment. So it's how far this pullback is going to go. It's a difficult one at the moment to pick a spot on. If you look at this this big candle that we had, we then started this very gradual move, and it was a big move, but it was very, very orderly on the way down. There was very little. There was lots of profit taking, but it was all very small. Bears were fully in control of this on the way down. So you got this kind of area here. And it's difficult to pick a break point. It's either there or there, really. But somewhere around there is where I'd expect to meet resistance if we're not going to turn from here. But market structure is like textbook on this thing at the minute. But we've rejected these highs. Here comes our sec spot. So I'm just going to close one more position out on my NAS. I'm just holding one runner. Very nice, 1.4% before breakfast. So yeah, this could well be it. When we break that low and that low, this could be the starting point. You know, we're always looking for the 72.24 area for continuations to the downside. Yeah. So, you know, occasionally we get above the 72, but when we're in a trend, this is it. This is where we want to start stepping in. It's not, it just about got extended. We've got obviously 1 hour extensions on it. So looks good. Just about to get the hourly reversal alert as well. Got half an hour left. That will trigger at the same time as the 4 hour. And the 15. So they're all going to trigger at basically the same time. So yeah, it looks good for shorts. Like the look of it. It's a decent support resistance there that we broke through, but has been supportive. So this, I mean, you're either going to run up into there or there, or we're going to slam back through there and go. It's difficult to tell. In second short on the DAX. Just reducing my risk on those two to there, which is pretty much average for the 2 stops, but Nasdaq is still pushing down this morning. We just made another new low on the Nas, so I think we might get a big flush at the lows here. So heavy, so heavy. Earnings is brilliant. I love earnings. Right. So that's all we've got on the ADRs. Weeklies, no point in looking at. It's Friday, but anything that's massively extended and is still massively extended is a good opportunity, obviously. But have a look. Whoops. Have a look through those. They've mostly played out though. Morning, MKKM. Right, so 4 hours. Flat. We had quite a few lit up yesterday. They've all started to play out. Just approaching opening range on the DAX. Sorry, I keep flitting around. Nasdaq's holding its lows. Yeah, 4 hours. We've got nothing lit up now anymore. There's quite a lot which is close, like these New Zealand dollar pairs are fairly close on the 4 hours. New Zealand dollar Swiss not far away. New Zealand dollar CAD has just come out of an extension. I've got short on that already. Am I short New Zealand CAD? Yeah, I am short New Zealand CAD. So yeah, there's a few that are coming out of extension. New Zealand dollar CAD I got in on the hourly RSI extension there, and we've just come up. Beautiful M pattern formation. If we break these lows, break yesterday's low specifically, we've got a nice easy flush. 125 ADR, but I mean, if you look at this on the 4 hour, obviously it's got a lot further to go. So new leg down would be obviously breaking low of the year. So yeah, continuation short New Zealand dollar CAD. So there's quite a few that are close to extensions, but they've all been alerted this week. I've got a bit of a rejection on the DAX. Nasdaq is holding at the lows, but it's due a pullback. Nas is due a pullback basically. So when you get that extended, we're due a little bit of a pullback, and obviously because the DAX is made a new high. So this is what I was talking about yesterday. What we're seeing a lot of at the moment because of earnings, divergence. Yeah, so that's a higher low on the DAX, obviously a lower low there. The one that is moving the fastest is sorry, let me just get rid of this idiot spammer. Oh, an advert. Onward to commercial content. Bye-bye. So yeah, so that's the divergence, and this is what I mean. When this starts to pull back, if it starts to pull back from here, it will accelerate the speed that this one moves at. So you can use this divergence to your advantage. Like yesterday, I saw a lot of speed on the S&P and the Nasdaq dropped quite quickly and quite fast. The Dow, however, was sitting up making new highs. So I shorted the Dow because these guys were plummeting hard and the Dow was making a new high. When you've got two massive indices making new lows and one of them not, that one's not going to have buying power there. The stocks are all being sold off. This is a temporary move because maybe the oil sector or something is being bought, which is why you see the Dow having a little bit of a pump, but the Dow rolled over and followed the rest of the indices. What we're seeing this morning is all the US indices selling off hard and a lot of resistance on the DAX. When these buyers in the DAX give up and go, we ain't making it, they're going to turn into sellers. As that sells off hard, it's going to drag the DAX down with it. So when you see a divergence like that across indices, the one that's in control, the one that's making the fastest, hardest moves is usually the one that will drag the rest with it. So that's hence me being short this morning on the DAX. Although we've got the gap fill there, you can't deny that the entire market is selling off at the minute. But that will change on a dime, you know, so this will stop. At some point, this is going to pull back. When it does pull back, all the buyers that want to buy for this gap are going to get a little bit more ground. And then you're going to see this maybe make a new high, whereas this will only get a pullback to there and start a new leg down. And then when this breaks this low, if this is around here, we'll get a faster move to the downside. So it's just follow the leader, arbitrage basically. But you see a lot of it during earnings, which you don't see normally. But you know, it doesn't always work. Obviously, we're in the Frankfurt session at the moment, not the US session. This is all Globex trading, so the volume's usually going through Frankfurt Exchange, obviously, isn't it? So, so we'll see if that holds. Pound Swiss ladder. So yeah, pound Swiss I'm already short. We're just holding at the minute. Didn't go anywhere yesterday. Haven't gone anywhere so far this morning. And obviously we pushed up, and the rest of the New York session on Wednesday did nothing as well. So yeah, still bearish pound. Obviously, we've had these little flurries with what's been going on in the UK. Nothing's changed economically for the pound. We've got a weak Swiss franc. Swissie's been letting us down, really, which is why everything's got advantage of it. And the same with the Euro Swiss. You know, I mean, I'm in a lot of Swiss, and the Swissie's not been doing its job, has it? So at the moment, just waiting for next leg down to start on the pound Swiss. Some Swiss franc strength would be nice, but we, you know, just not getting it at the minute. But economic situation for the pound hasn't changed. We are not going to get any indication as to what they're going to be doing until the 17th of November. And at that point, obviously, we'll need to make a decision on whether we need to be bullish or bearish moving forward on the pound. But inflation says down, interest rates say down, everything says down. Yet we're having a little bit of a bull run. And this is the problem at the moment with every single currency, is it doesn't matter how weak something is. If there's something a little bit weak and sitting next door to it, it's going to gain on it. Yeah, look at the euro. The only thing you can be sure of at the moment is the US dollar. Yeah, if you look at everything against the US dollar, it's in control, and it will remain in control until the Fed comes out and says something stupid. But even so, you know, it's going to be stronger than everything else, isn't it? It's the biggest economy. So yeah, shorts still, but I mean, we're just sideways at the moment. Yeah, I mean, waiting. But if you're a multi-leg man, we have potentially got another leg up. These people that believe in this 3-leg thing, which I used to believe in, but I proved it wrong more times than I proved it right, so I stopped. In fact, you could, I mean, this is just a mess. You can't really use this, but I mean, you could say leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, couldn't you? I mean, this is the thing, it's all subjective. So, you know, anything that's subjective doesn't work, because basically you're discretionary trading, aren't you? So anyway, but yeah, shorts on pound Swiss, I'm short on it. Nothing on the hourlies at all, anywhere. So we basically have got nothing on the RSI dashes at the moment to look at whatsoever. So a bit flat everywhere today. News-wise today, obviously, we've got to wait until 1:30 for the GDP figures for Canada, and then we've got the PCE this afternoon, which is an inflationary indicator, so it is very important. We will get some movement off of this afternoon. How big it will be is obviously debatable, but it's very hit and miss, as you can see. reds and greens, lots of on targets, but it's not one you can really forecast very accurately. So we'll just have to wait and see with those. So I'm going to quickly run through all the pairs today, and we'll just have a good quick overview of everything. And see if we can find any decent opportunities on anything. EA is still running for me at the moment on the same pairs. That's actually something I was going to do today. Maybe I'll do that now. So the EAs obviously I've got running, the EA I've got running basically is in line with trend. So what I'm looking for basically is Euro, US dollar, looking for short orders, Aussie, New Zealand. My VPN connection. Sorry, my VPS connection is very slow this morning. Sometimes it does this. It takes forever to flick. Oh, this is going to take forever, so I'm not going to do it now. But what I'm going to basically do today is I'm going to go through all the pairs that I've got set up and just reconfirm the bias on them. So I want to make sure I'm definitely still pound US dollar short. I want to make sure I'm long Aussie New Zealand. I want to make sure I'm short Aussie Swiss, etc. Short Euro Swiss. So just reconfirm basically. And obviously, because I've got it set up to get me in, for example, pound Swiss, to get me in when we're below the 72, obviously it's not going to enter any new positions at the moment because it's up there. So I need it to drop back, and that's when I'm going to get into my first one when we get a pullback after the initial push. So I'm just going to run through all the pairs at some point today and just go, yep, I want to be short there, no idea. I want to be short there, sorry, long there, but not at the moment. I am long on it, obviously, at the moment, but the EA can't take any trades because we're wrong side of that. Short there. So I might adjust the pairs that I'm trading on, like CAD Swiss. I might replace Aussie New Zealand with CAD Swiss, for example. But obviously I need to check my exposure and make sure I don't overexpose myself. So I might have a flick through and just change some of the pairs. But it doesn't really matter which ones you pick. If you're trend trading, you know, it's obvious at the moment, the short-term trend on that for the last 6 months is down. We want to be taking shorts on the CAD Swiss, don't we? So let's run through everything. If there's anything you want to look at in specifics or any more detail, let me know. Just watching the DAX. We're just trying to run down on new lows at the moment. Oh, wrong one, sorry. So just attempting in these lows. See how we get on, see if we get bought up at the lows. I'm going to add one. If we don't reject. So sell stop under the low. Yeah. Might close this out. Got 3 minutes left on this candle. I like this bullish engulfing. Sorry, bearish engulfing. But I don't like this limit buy at the bottom here. So this is the third time we bought this level up. I'm just going to move my stops just above the high of that candle. Because if this is if this is going to hold. Just watching the Nasdaq's having a little bit of a pullback as well. If this is going to hold, we might come and challenge new highs somewhere up here. Just reducing the risk of the position. We haven't got any news this morning that's going to really impact price movement, apart from obviously the earnings with the US. So we're not waiting. The market's got no reason to wait around for any announcements this morning. So we should just get this moving. And if we don't make a break of this low and run with the US direction, I just get the feeling we might chop around and flip flop a little bit this morning. So I don't really want to. I don't want to go for this morning. I just haven't got any long conviction based on the earnings and the US. So I'd rather just sit here and not trade than try and trade this gap long. I just feel that hitting that button is a much better idea this morning than going long. But we have got that target. Obviously, at some point, we will come back up and fill this gap. But I'm just not convinced it's going to be today. So right, sorry. I can watch that on my other monitor. I'll let you know what's going on with it. So yeah, Aussie dollar CAD shorts. We got a nice 4-hour reversal alert there, straight into that propulsion gap. If you look down on the hourly, just had the reversal alert there as well. So if we're going to continue this move to the downside, potentially this is a pullback up into this resistance here. And then continuation down. So it's a good looking short opportunity, Aussie US. The alert on it, I think, was in lower time frame. Yeah, it was kind of yesterday. So we had this weird price action. It's not very pretty at all, this one. So we had this high put in on Wednesday. Thursday, we put a lower high in, but we didn't actually get the reversal alert until yesterday afternoon. And it's a lovely Batman pattern, as I call it. But that's where I would need to see us really break to confirm that DAX is collapsing at these lows. So just third short. Nasdaq's just about to test new lows. Jesus Christ, what a morning. So I'm just going to close this out. I'm just a little concerned about this low, and I had 0.7%, so I've got to take it. I'm up 2.15% this morning. I've got to take it. I've got to stop trading there because otherwise I'm going to overtrade and give it all back. So I've done 6% in the last 3 days, and the Nasdaq. The reason I've just taken that off. I'm watching this Nas here. We got this rejection at the lows when we got the pullback on the DAX. We just traded down into these lows, and that got bought up very, very fast, as if there's a load of limit orders sitting, triggering at this level still. And what I'm worried about is a really fast reaction all the way back up to there. And the worst thing to do when you've got a position sitting, as I had on the funded account there, in 0.7% profit, is watching that 0.7% turn into negative 1.5. And I've done it so many times. You just take it. I can always put a trade back on later, but I can't get that 0.7 turning into a 1.5 loss back. So that's the reason I took that off. We're just seeing a lot of limit buying at these lows here at the minute. And DAX is struggling. I was looking for a flush, fast flush out the lows. DAX is struggling to flush those lows, which means they're getting bought up. Someone's buying these lows over and over and over and over again. They're either going to puke here, and that's where we're going to get the flush. This low is going to break, and we're going to have a really big, strong, fast candle down, or they're going to win this battle, and we're going to pull back up into the range. So I just don't like the price action. Doesn't look good. Might be totally wrong. You know, if it flushes, it flushes. But I'm just watching. This is why you need to watch. And I say this all the time. You need to watch multiple instruments which are correlated to see what's happening, because this is telling me we're struggling to go lower. This is telling me we're struggling to go lower. The S&P has made a new, potentially make a new higher low. Yeah, divergence. But we've got the US indices pushing against the DAX now. So, you know, the divergence, again, we had positive divergence against negative divergence. Now we've got positive divergence against negative divergence. These are the guys that are in control this morning. This is going to get dragged behind it. So this is reacting after these. So you get a feeling for this sort of stuff when you watch it all the time. It's just it just doesn't feel right at the minute. So I'm out of that. Might be wrong, but doesn't look particularly pretty at the minute. So I'd rather be flat. I'd rather be flat than be poor. I'm going to close my I've got 0.3 left on the funded account, so I'm just going to go completely flat on that and close that. NASDAQ out as well. So I'm short indices, I can concentrate now. Sorry, I'm short indices, I'm flat indices, so I can concentrate now. Aussie dollar CAD. So yeah, nice low break, nice reversal alert on the 4 hour. No reason why it shouldn't be coming down. Aussie dollar Swiss, same thing. We're just about to get the 4 hour reversal alert. Hourly, we had it yesterday. Again, we've gone into a multi-day accumulation on this. Swiss franc is very weak at the moment. Aussie is obviously very weak off of the back of the rate announcement. So we've got a week against a week, which means a sideways. So I think at the minute, these are all in really, really good spots to start building short positions. We've just about got extended on the 4 hour on this one. So this is really where you want to start looking for shorts. And obviously, if we're going to continue to the downside, you know, the 72.24 area is where we tend to see those sellers starting to step in. Aussie yen, no clue. All the yens. I'm not going to cover any of the yens in any detail. You know my feelings on the yen at the moment. I haven't got a clue. This is not a tradable instrument at the moment, the yen, because you've got no idea when this is going to happen. And when this does happen, you're stuffed. Or you're rich. But go into a casino if you want to do that. The moment the yen, as far as I'm concerned, you want to be longing the hell out of everything against the yen until the Bank of Japan steps in and says stop doing it, in which case you're going to get hurt badly. So there's just no point trading them. Unless you're short time frame, yeah, if you want to go short time frame, scalps, I'd be looking for longs. I'd be longing it. So take every reverse alert to the upside when you get an hourly downside RSI extension. You haven't had one. Yeah, so take those longs, scalps, but just get out fast, because when they do that, you're not going to be able to get out. You're going to be, you know, in deep drawdown. And like I said, we've had two of these now. We had the first intervention which failed. Can't see on that time frame. Best to look at US dollar. They're all the same anyway. But you had the first intervention that failed. We had the second intervention, which was bigger than the first. Then we had the third intervention, which, although it kind of failed, it started a movement in the yen. We also had a US dollar weakness at the same time, because obviously they're pulling money out of that to pump it into there. But equally, they will do the opposite. They'll pull it back out the yen to pump it in to the US dollar, in which case we'll see this coming back up again. But you can see the Bank of Japan was not happy at this level. The Bank of Japan was not happy at this level. We tried to push it back up. The Bank of Japan was not happy again. They tried to push it down twice. They failed. And this is the problem with the Bank of Japan at the moment. Intervention is very difficult when you're skint. It's like saying I've got to go in and buy a weekly shop which costs £250, but I haven't got any money in my bank account. This is what they're trying to do. We've got to solve this problem without any cash. With flashing on the DAX. So that did hold. Well, it didn't hold. Look. So I was right to get out, but we are now flushing. And so is the NAS. So if you want to take an opening range breakout on the DAX, this is the actual signal. I'd wait until we confirm closed below that level. Obviously, yesterday's low, you want to make sure we're closed below yesterday's low. We could, there's the pop. That was the pop and flush. So that was that buyer that I was talking about. You saw that, didn't you? That's what you call the puke. Yeah. So the guy that was buying the hell out of this bottom, we broke down, we pushed down, and he basically puked. And you saw that flush, that quick spike down. That's him basically dumping all of his longs and getting out at a loss. So he's now had to sell, which causes this to spike down. And now people have seen a breakdown and a fast breakdown. They're going to start selling, which just adds to the momentum, which makes the move go. And then as these people get down to a certain level, they'll start to take profit. And that means they become buyers. That's what we get the pullback. And then after it's pulled back, they jump back into the trend. So there'll be limit orders sitting up there, ready to jump back in again. Market mechanics. So yeah, all these yens, don't know. I'd be buyers on all yen pairs, but yeah, I'd just be very, very careful. I wouldn't position trade anything yen. If you're in something yen, position trading it, obviously hold it and stay in it. The next intervention, yeah, could be miles away. Could be Monday. I've no idea. So, but the only thing that's going to make this more powerful is intervention that sticks. And they had a good crack at it there. Yeah. And until proven otherwise, that intervention is working because this has not regained on a lot of pairs. So the intervention is still there. So this could come down. But what they said yesterday, here we go again. Don't expect a rate hike. Yeah, anytime soon. What they said last night, overnight, is not bullish, and it's talking themselves up, but it's not giving any solutions to anything. It's the same as the UK at the moment. You can talk as much as you like until you come up with a solution. We're short. So morning, Minpo. Cybertron. You've changed your name. You didn't used to be Cybertron, did you? Good name. Transformers fan. I'm showing my age now. I'm talking about the original Transformers cartoon back in the 80s, not the films. So yeah, Aussie yens. Aussie New Zealand, I'm long at the moment. Right or wrong, I'm long. Just played the bounce off the double bottom. So we've got a nice W reversal playing out at the moment. This is the sticking point. So what I'm looking for is a rejection and push back up into there to try and get another position on. So I might actually put one on up there. I might as well put it in now, hadn't I? I got to do this manually because the EA is completely out of sync with the trade. So just putting a buy stop at ADR, which I know is a stupid thing to do normally. But I don't think we're going to get to ADR. I think we're going to come off resistance first, and then we're going to break that resistance. That's when I'm going to get in, when we've got that momentum after we've broken through that sell resistance there. And then I'll be a little bit closer with my average. But as I say, my plan on this one, Aussie New Zealand, is to reduce my average down. I'm going to start working this and just get rid of some size at the top, which will obviously aid this coming down. But I want us to be closer. So I'm not going to do any DD control on these positions. I've got 3 of them. I'm not going to do any DD control until we get up into this area, because obviously doing it now, I take a lot more loss than I do there. So I want to be closer to the positions before I start doing that drawdown control. So Aussie New Zealand, still like it long. Still think the Aussie dollar is going to take back control. to quote a Boris. There we go. Just got a pullback starting, whoops, on the DAX. Potentially. So one thing that might be at play here is a double bottom. So if we're going to make that run today, this is where I would expect the move to start from. It's quite a big bull buy at the end there. Big bullish move. So your decision, which isn't what I need to make this morning because I've hit my target this morning, 2.5%. Your decision is that today's move, this morning's move, or is that double bottom bounce in play? And if so, you can enter here, stop under there, or you can wait for a confirmation break of that high and a pullback to enter there. Decisions, bullish or bearish. Nobody knows. You'll find out. So Aussie New Zealand, Aussie US shorts, that's already gone. Flushing nicely this morning. Strong US dollar by the looks of things. Yeah, got strong US dollar this morning, which is good, which means negative indices normally. But that might change now if we're going to start a pullback on the indices, but we'll see. So we had this push up and rejection here. So start continuation short. Obviously, we've had a weak US dollar, which has helped the Aussie get control. And obviously, we've had a weak Australian dollar based off the interest rate rise, which they didn't put into place. But we should just start a continuation short on this now. I don't think I've got any US dollar. I haven't got any US dollar on. Why have I not got any US dollar on? Yeah, pound US shorts, Euro US shorts, and US CAD longs. So yeah, just haven't had any get into the right spot yet to get into any trades. But I am trying to get into some US dollar. I'm too late on this one, but if you want to, I mean, from a longer term perspective, obviously, if you want to hold much longer term, that's a good spot to get in on the 4-hour reversal. Hourly reversal happened yesterday morning. But yeah, that looks good for shorts. CAD Swiss, still like it's short at the moment, but it's not my favorite one to trade. We've just got some German GDP figures just released, which may be why we're getting a pump on the DAX. GDP is up across the board, which is good. US's GDP was up as well. So yeah, like it's short, but as a look at the price action on this, it's very, very spiky, very up and downy. CAD dragged with US and dragged with oil, and both of those expected to rise. However, obviously the Swiss franc has been in control recently. At the moment, it looks like the CAD is just gaining. So it's kind of a short, but it's not one that I would want to really have a lot of faith in at the moment. So any extensions, you kind of want to get out of them fairly quick. There is a chance this one will power up potentially if we continue to get this weak Swiss franc. So not the best looking thing out there to trade. Obviously another yen and another yen. No idea. The indicator tells you there's no idea. Look, you got two. The indicator doesn't know. There was no market structure in this. It's just a mess. So ignore. Euro. Hard one. The euro odd. I'd still have this bias short on all the euros. What they did with the rates has not, it has given the market a little bit of confidence. They've gone up to 2%, which is fantastic. They've done a 0.75 interest rate rise because inflation is getting so bad. So they're trying to get on top of it. And as inflation starts to come down, the currency will come down with it. So if they've put enough in place with that 2% rise to get on top of inflation and start the slowdown, we should see the euro started to come down. That's a difficult thing to forecast in this current climate. So I like it short still, but as you know, again, the indicators sitting there telling you that we're in an accumulation. We haven't really got any directional bias at all on this thing. DAX is actually pulling back very nicely at the minute. Okay, so market structure short would be that. So this could be a nice short entry. The short entry really was there, but confirmation when this candle closes in a minute. If this candle closes bearish, we're probably starting a new leg down. NASDAQ is also looking very bearish, very, very bearish. Still looks short to me. Wait for the candle to close there. So yeah, euro, US dollar, euro, Aussie dollar. I still like it short, but from a fundamental basis. From a trend basis, obviously you can see this isn't trending at all. It's a mess. Yeah, we've got a double bottom. We had a little double top there, triple top. We've just pulled up into previous balance, which we're rejecting. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. So I'm not really trading this one at the moment. Euro CAD short based on Canadian dollar strength dragged with the US and oil, and euro not being that strong. I've got my bias on the euro is kind of like that at the moment, but it really depends what happens with the next inflation figures they release. If the next inflation figures are positive, we'll probably factor in much bigger rate rises, which means we'll get some bullish price action on it. But at the moment, you can see the market's reaction. Yeah, across the board yesterday. We factored in 2%. You gave us 2%. Brilliant. Well done. You haven't got on top of it. Sure. That's what I think is probably likely to happen over the next sort of quarter. But I need to see this continue. So I've got Euro Swiss on short at the moment. I was looking for an opportunity to get in on this morning, and I think I may have missed it. I have just missed it. So I was looking for this propulsion gap short, which I've missed. There's no point in getting into it now because I've got one on. But there, or at worst case scenario, an ADR hit. If we get an ADR hit today, I'm definitely getting in again. But that's where I was looking for my short entry, which I've just missed. So, yeah, so shorts, Euro Swiss still. Big move that. Yeah, this is the market telling you what's happening. Yeah, we're not happy with the current situation. We're giving you the benefit of the doubt and carry on business as usual. Downside. Pound US dollar, euro pound rather. Ignore. No idea with this. It's a tiny ADR normally. It's got a big ADR at the moment because of the lunacy we had with the pound. Why they call it the loony? They don't call it the loony, do they? It's cable. That's pound US dollar. What's loony? I used to know all the nicknames. Is that a New Zealand one? I can't remember. I never called them. I never went with nicknames with the FX pairs. Just confused the hell out of me. So yeah, euro pound sideways mess. Euro yen sideways mess. Euro New Zealand again. Nice rollover on this. We've been sitting there as the New Zealand powered up, completely sideways. Now the euro weakened yesterday. We've still got a little bit of strength on the New Zealand dollar, although it is starting to wane. But I see this rolling over and dropping from here. So I'll be looking for shorts. Right now, you can see where we got to this high and we just obviously stopped. But that we didn't really stop there from a technical reason. We stopped there because the euro started to weaken into the news and the New Zealand dollar started to strengthen off the back of its rates. So that's why we really got that pause. But we have now made a new low, so pullbacks and shorts. So looking for hourly extensions to the upside if we get them for short opportunities. Though it is counter trend. Well, I say it's not counter trend, is it? That's not a trend. It's a range. So yeah, sell the highs. Wow. No rejection on the DAX. This thing's a bit schizophrenic this morning. A lot of volume and volatility this morning. Basically, you need to pick a direction on this and keep a nice wide stop. If you're going to get into this long, there's your risk reward. If you're going to get into it short now, to be safe, I'd go up there. If we are going to go short, we're going to flush. At least down into there, which is that previous area balance where we're going to find some limits. So got a good risk reward either way. You just need to pick a direction. At the moment, it's being very, very schizophrenic. Difficult to tell, isn't it? You just need to pick a direction and go with it with a 2-to-1 and make it or don't make it this morning. Glad I'm out of it, to be honest. Bit of a mess. Right, Euro New Zealand, yeah, looking for shorts on that one at the moment. It is counter trend, so you've got to be a little bit more careful with it, but the market structure certainly at the moment looks like it's a short. But obviously in a big uptrend. This isn't a flag. Normally, if this was happening after a move like that, I'd be worried about that being a flag. But it's not. It's a trend accumulation, and it looks like it's just a rollover to me. So I'll be looking for shorts on it. Euro US shorts. Oh, missed it. If you weren't in it, missed it. I was in this. I got out because I had too much exposure on, and I didn't want to be in it. So the Euro US dollar I closed out. Did I close it out? I closed it out yesterday, didn't I? There. So I was in Euro US dollar on the hourly extension. There. And 2 ads and out. Should have held it, obviously. I liked it short. The only reason I got out of that there, which I posted yesterday, was because I had Euro Swiss, and until that Euro Swiss got under control, I didn't want to have more Euro exposure on, just in case they just did a pullback and run on it. So, but it came down. So looking for it to come down and trade back into this area. If you wanted to get in new positions short, obviously yesterday, but getting into that ahead of the European rate announcement, you'd be incredibly brave. But yeah, so I'm out of that. I'll be looking for shorts. So I will be looking for any pullbacks to get in short on it. I'm going to find it hard to get into this until we've got a little bit more movement down here, because I need to be below the 72 before my next entry. Pound odd. Very tricky, the pounds at the minute. Like I said with the pounds last week, I don't anticipate us going anywhere until Monday, until the mini budget is announced. They're not doing it on Monday now. So I think until the middle of November, you'll be very brave trying to take a position trade on anything to do with the pound. Range bound highs to short it, potentially lows to long it. Where we are right now on this one particularly is just no man's land, so don't trade in the middle. There's a saying about trading in the middle, isn't there? Again, I can't remember what it is. But yeah, don't trade in the middle of a range. Trade at the extremes of a range. So nothing really interesting there at all. At the moment, pound CAD, same thing. I'd be looking for shorts on this one. You've got a nice little, where we got to yesterday is a very nice old support resistance level. which we've reacted at many times. We tapped into it to the pip and basically came off that high. So that could well be the reaction point where we're going to start to see this move. But again, I don't think you're going to see an awful lot of movement. I'm quite surprised we actually got out of that range there and pushed up. So if that's the new high, I would say what you're looking for at the moment is this to be the new kind of bottom of the range. Either you can short it now and aim to get out down there, or wait till we get down there and aim to get a pullback on it. But either way, you want everything done by November the 17th. And until that point, I don't think you're really going to get any direction. So pound Swiss, I'm in short. I'm happy I'm in short on it. But again, it's the same thing. You can see where I am. I'm well within an ADR. I just need some kind of movement down. We're not going to hold a range that tight for 2 weeks. So if it pushes up again, it's going to move. But I'm waiting on the Swissy. We've had no power out of the Swissy for the last week. So I expect the Swissy to power up at some point soon, which will obviously get me out of this. But I wouldn't really want to get into anything pound specifically at the minute. Because until that rate announcement comes, until the monetary policy, the fiscal policy comes out on the 17th, we haven't got a clue, have we? Where the pound is going. So we just need to sit on it. But again, same with all these pounds. If you want to trade them, look for range highs and lows. Got a very easy one on the pound New Zealand. So yeah, if you get down here, long it. If you get up there, short it. If you get an ADR hit to the upside, short it. If you get an ADR hit to the low side, short it, long it. Yeah, so just take ADR extremes, take 1 hour RSI extensions if you get them. Yeah, so if you get extended on the hourly, take it. That's all you can do with the pound. Just assume until we know anything fiscal policy-wise, we're range bound. Obviously, don't trade in the middle of the range, trade at the extremes. An ADR hit today, for example, although you're in the middle of the range, you are at resistance high. You're likely to get a reaction from it, but it could well push back up again. But that's the reaction you're looking for. That's the trade, isn't it? Quick short, in and out. There's no directional bias. You want to be scalping it. Pound US dollar. Shorts. Even if we get a strong pound off the back of the new monetary policy, still short. Yeah, not going to beat the US dollar. Unless something fundamentally changes on the US dollar that's going to make this thing weak. We're looking for shorts on pound US dollar. And this is exactly where I want to be shorting it. Yeah. Where we are now. It might go sideways for a few weeks. Unlikely. I mean, what you're asking for is for the pound to not do anything for a couple of weeks, which is probably given. You can't ask for the US dollar to sit there and do nothing either. US dollar is going to power up and push this down at some point. It's already started. You're about to get a reversal alert on the 4 hour. You had one yesterday on the hourly. So yeah, again, any RSI extensions to the upside, take short. Hourlies, take short. 4 hour, you just missed it. ADR extensions to the upside, shorts. Again, I've got the EA running on this. I need that. So I'll be getting in after we've done that. New Zealand CAD short already. Beautiful rejection at the 72. We are potentially just about to put in a bearish engulfing on the 4 hour. We've got 43 minutes left on this candle. So if we can get a bearish engulfing and a break below those lows, even better if we can slam that and break those lows. Yeah, I'm already in it anyway. So, and I'm in it because of the hourly RSI extension. So looks good. Shorts, but I'm already in that one. .25% in profit at the minute. New Zealand dollar Swiss, same thing, shorts. So again, we're waiting for the Swissy at the minute to power up. We've got a weak New Zealand happening at the moment, which is why this is obviously coming down. And we're overdue a little bit of a tickle on the Swissy. So just DAX, if you want to short it, if you're a short bias on it, just double topped. And obviously, if this is going to stay short, that's where you're getting in. If you're short bias, if you want a short entry and you're short bias today, that's your entry. Obviously, if you're long bias, don't get in there. But if you're short bias, that's wait for the candle to close, obviously, and confirm. But we've just double topped. New Zealand Swiss, yeah. So like that short, obviously, but a little bit more strength off the Swissy is what's needed on this one. But it's in the right spot. A little bit sideways at the minute, but yeah, just like it. Short still. New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc, but we need some strength of the Swissy. New Zealand yen, no idea. New Zealand US short. Again, lovely bearish engulfing going in on the 4 hour at the moment. Morning, Steve. 72 would be a really good second entry on that one, potentially, if this bearish engulfing and this reversal alert here fails. So just better get a reversal alert. You've had your hourly already. And it's double top from yesterday's high. So it looks good. Need to break this low, yesterday's low. As soon as that's gone, we're off. But you've got loads of buyers here, obviously. You can see, yeah, buyers are here. So there's liquidity and limit orders sitting in these zones, which you're going to need to slam through. But that's what we do. When the sellers take control, we break. So looks good. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. US dollar strength, obviously. No reason why that shouldn't continue to be strong. So like it's short. US dollar CAD, I'm looking for long opportunities on this one. I think I had a US CAD long on and I got out of it. Did I? Did I not? I don't know. No, maybe I didn't. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I had one. I had one from here. Oh yeah, I got out on that spike, didn't I? I got out here. So I got in. I got in here, there, and I got out there. We tapped straight into the propulsion gap. So yeah, I like it as a long. I'm waiting for an RSI extension to the downside though to get into this one. So at the moment, I haven't got any positions on it. It's not quite strong enough in any direction at the moment. We're right at these lows. This is a beautiful spot for a long. Yeah. So, you know, longs up to the highs. But this is notoriously a rangy pair a lot of the time, look, because it's the US dollar and the CAD. They're very close trade partners, and the US dollar tends to drag the CAD along with it. So when you get this powering up, that powers up at the same time. Two strong currencies equals a range. It's only when one has a fundamental reason to be stronger than the other one, i.e. weak oil pricing for the CAD, you get that little bit of an advantage. So a lot of sideways movement, but I'd be biased long on it at the moment, based on obviously trend at the minute. But and obviously the US economy just powering everything down. You know, everything's going to be weaker against the US. If you look at the NAS, can't show you. Haven't got a. Oh, yes, I have. I'll just quickly flick the NAS over onto here. This is the 2050 moving averages. Yeah, this is why everybody uses the 2050. It's just in a trend, 2050 is king. So if this is going down for another leg, this is where you want to be getting in. Look at the DAX as well. Yeah, we're rejecting out the 20, bearish engulfing. As you can see, the price action toolkit has just said. So yeah, if you're short, this is it. Get in now. I'm really undecided on the DAX this morning, as you can tell. US dollar CAD, like it long, but it's not going to be the easiest thing to trade. I have got the EA set up on it, but it needs to be the right conditions. I need to be extended before I'm going to get in. I want the US dollar to be really weak when I buy it. US Swiss mess still got no clue on this thing. It's just I don't know. I just don't know with it. I used to love the US dollar Swiss. It used to be one of the main things I traded, but the moment it's driving me up the wall. I can't figure out what's going on fundamentally with the US and the Swiss. So I would be looking for long opportunities on it. You had an entry on Wednesday, was it? Actually, the entry was on Tuesday here, and your second entry was on Wednesday there. And you were out. You're out now, basically. But yeah, don't know about that one. And US dollar yen, don't know about. At the moment, obviously, a long. Oil. I got into this yesterday. I got chopped about a bit with this yesterday. I took a long on my funded account yesterday, and I can't remember what I made out of it. Not a lot. Oil. I had $230 losses, a $500 loss. Did I not make any money out of oil yesterday? Oh, yeah, and a $250 win. So yeah, I made an overall loss on oil yesterday. I got chopped around in this thing. So I took this breakout here. Remember I said in the live room yesterday, we were looking at this yesterday in the live room, and I said after this big bullish candle on daily, let's go back to the beginning. After this big bullish candle on the daily, we'd pulled back, and yesterday when in the live room we were sitting somewhere around there, weren't we? Bearish. And I said, if this breaks the high, I've got a feeling we're going to get a bull day. We got a bull day, but what it actually did was run up and then run all the way back down again. Again, today, right now, if we break the high of the day today, I'm actually going to put this on my, sorry, while I'm watching it, oil. I'm going, oh no, it doesn't look as good on M5, actually. I like this long, not right now. I need this to pull back a little bit. But what happened to me yesterday basically was I got in long on a break of this high. Yeah, there. I got into loads of profit. So I got in, I added. It came back down really fast, stopped me out for a $500 loss. And I was like, because I was sitting at about 400 and something dollars in profit. And then I didn't get back in again and it shot up. So what I did was as soon as we got, we broke that high, I thought I'll wait for a little bit of a pullback and then I'll get in on the next leg because I was expecting a nice big bull day. What did it do? Stop me out in two more positions. So I made a little bit of a loss. I managed to grab a bit back on it somewhere. I can't remember where it was. It was an earlier trade. Must have grabbed one in there and taken one off. But anyway, so oil at the minute, obviously when we're looking at the daily, we've called this no lower than $80 as the low. We've made the new high. We've made the new low. So I'm looking for bull movement on it. I had my stops a little bit too close. So I'm looking for a break of that high and looking obviously to challenge the $100 to $110 a barrel mark. So look for longs on oil. I was just going to say I'm going to get in long on oil when we break the high of the day. That's the high of the day. Sorry, that's the high of the day there. I'm not going to get in now after this thing. I need some pullback. So I'm going to watch this. It's not even a propulsion gap, is it? That's the only down candle we've had in the London session. So I guess there or there. So what I think my entry on this will be today will be 88.80 let's say 88.82. Just put that in now. 1 sec. 88.82. What was I trading oil with? Size wise. 1.3. So I'm going 88.82. 88.82, yeah. I'm just going to put pending order, buy limit here. And stop here. So I'm not going to position trade this oil here in this account. In my funded account, though, I like it long. If we get a reversal alert, though, I don't like it long anymore. So that's my stop. So that's my risk. Yep. Reward. Obviously, as I said, I'm looking for 110 a barrel. So I'm looking to get into a position on oil. And this is what I was trying to start yesterday. I was hoping to get these multiple positions on and this thing to actually close higher. We didn't get it because it screwed me around with that candle. So yeah, little bit of a pullback. I'm looking to long that one today. Oil, like it long. Gold, no idea. Shorts. US dollar, basically, short against the US dollar. And indices, obviously, at the moment, you need to just trade in line with earnings. Dow, remember I said the Dow, if we can, the 200 obviously is a reactive MA a lot of the time on a lot of instruments. But yeah, Dow basically potential turning point. Massive bearish engulfing on the S&P yesterday, earnings misses. NASDAQ, big earnings misses with big players. And DAX, completely different. Little bit bullish. So, you can't really forecast anything at the moment. The movement we're going to get for the next week is all determined by earnings, as it is this week. So from a fundamental perspective, yes, we're looking for shorts. Right now, we'll go whichever way the earnings dictate, and people will buy up or sell up depending on what happens. So, okay. So I can't really call any directions on it. But if you want to build a position, you want to be building it short on those. Cosmin Chris, regarding the propulsion gap, is it generally used as an area where you expect price to return? And I understand there's a high probability that it will reject and continue. The initial movement, I don't understand why it is not used as soon as it is formed as a strategy to continue the movement. It can be if you wanted to. Entry at the moment of formation and continuation in the indicated direction with a stop loss at the extreme of the candlestick. Yep, you can do that. Curious your approach to trading this way. Right, so basically, if you look at, I don't know, I've never seen you in here before, Chris, so I don't know whether you've watched the boot camp or not. I'm a position trader, so I don't scalp using this indicator. I scalp price action on the indices, but I don't scalp using the propulsion gap indicator. So this is called the 1, 2, 3 gap, WRB, wide range bar, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it, it's not really a fair value gap. I don't really understand the fair value gap because I don't do ICT stuff. But the guy that invented this, the WRB, if you want to look at his website, I'll find it. Let me just open a new window because I need to try and find him. You can go and research it if you want in more detail, the WRB gap. But there is a specific set of rules. Okay, you'll love this website. Who wants to go back to the 80s? And this is, when people say to me, people call this, and I hear it said a lot in the Telegram group, and I hear it said a lot everywhere else, a fair value gap, right? Because that's a term that ICT, Mike Huddleston, has coined, right? The fair value gap. If you class this as a fair value gap, right, it kind of proves that ICT's ripped everybody off, doesn't it? In a way, because the guy that invented that indicator, right, built this website. Who do you think came up with the indicator and the strategy first, ICT or this guy? I can't remember the guy's name. I keep getting asked about him, but he's an old guy. He came up with this. He's a brilliant trader. It's a brilliant strategy. But this website was created when internet started back in God almighty, 2002, right? So it's a 20-year. This strategy is old. If you want to find out more about it, it's called thestrategylab.com, WRB analysis. I'll stick a link if you want to have a look. Don't go and look at it now, but bookmark it. But basically, what it is, a wide range bar, is an accumulation and then a propulsion move. Yeah. So it is an accumulation break, as I call it, or a propulsion gap. So it's a gap caused by a accumulation of price and then a fast move. And it's the banks and institutions basically building orders and then building their book. And this is all covered in the Boocamp, how this all works in banks. They build a book and their book will then have either a long or a short bias, i.e. if market goes down, we make X. If market goes up, we make Y. There will be a bias, long or short, where they will make more money in one direction or the other. They execute orders in that direction, the propulsion gap. When they've executed those orders, the market will then react. The other institutions will then either try to push price back down again, or they will jump on board with their move. In this case, they jumped on board with their move. Every time you get one of these gaps, if that move is not completed by the institutions that started the move, they will add to their positions. This is why propulsion gaps work, because what you're seeing here is a market execution by a market maker being added to. Yeah. So to answer the question, yes, when you see a propulsion gap trigger, yeah, you can jump on immediately. And I do. And you'll see me do it a lot when I'm scalping. But the reason I do it is because that is a strong close candle to the upside, a bullish engulfing, a move in line with trend, or some other reason. But yeah, if you want to use this as your signal to go long, do it. But also, it's a signal to get in. Next candle pushes down. That's what creates the gap. Okay, so when you're saying use them immediately, you can use them immediately in the fact that, yes, you can trade as soon as you see one appear, but your entry is going to be there, right? Or in this case here, because this propulsion gap doesn't get formed until 1, 2, 3 is in place. So it's a 3-bar pattern. You have to have a move, a big move, and then this next candle has to not get back to the high of that candle and then trade back up again. When that candle closes, that is your propulsion gap, or WRB, wide range bar. Yeah. Good luck on this website, by the way. I spent, I don't know how long, trying to find the information about this system, strategy, etc., etc. It is a total mess, but it's brilliant. Yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of good information. You'll get lost in here. There's lots of different strategies in here to do with it. But, you know, the guy's old that has been trading this. There's a very strong following. If you want to join his forum, right? I can't even remember how you find it. I mean, you end up following links aimlessly around the site, and eventually you'll end up somewhere. I can't even find out how to get there. There's a forum. Oh yeah, verification of trading. Right. So what you have to do here is, if you want to join this group, and I've joined this group, you have to write a document for the owner of the forum explaining exactly what an WRB is, how it works, and give chart examples of them in play. You have to explain lots of different types of wide range bar strategies And then when you've passed the verification here, where you have to do all of this stuff, you post it, and then if you've got it right and you've passed the test, if you like, this little exam you have to do, then they give you access to a deeper forum where you can get in touch with this guy who runs everything, and he will then want you to trade for, I can't remember how many days it is, but you need to trade for a load of days and show live trade examples, and you have to show him your P&L to show him that you've proven that you took the entries. Doesn't matter if they work or not. He wants to see you actually execute everything, which is a really good thing, because what it means is he doesn't get any time wasters. My Telegram group is full of people sending me stupid comments all the time, because I'm not being horrible to people. Everybody has to start somewhere, but I get asked questions that if you were to accidentally trip over your keyboard, Google would solve for you. This guy, you got to trade for 30 days and then show him your P&L. And then he lets you into his internal group, which is a live forum where they trade these things. Getting through this thing, though, is impossible. I don't have the time to do it, obviously. But if you do, and you want to try and trade these things, go for it. He shows P&Ls and stuff, and but look at the site. Yeah, I mean, it's hard work, really hard work to even consume the information. So what I did in the bootcamp was narrowed it down into, this means there's a load of long guys. When it gets back, and the crux of it is, there's good times and bad times to use these. The main times you use these is accumulation break. So I'll find you an example of a bad one. Let's look at something on the hourly. Let's find a bad one. That one isn't great. This one here, yeah. The reason that's not good is because the price action before that happened was an A shape. So if you see a propulsion gap formed by an A shape, right, and it doesn't break the lows of the previous lows, right? So this candle close here didn't close below there, yeah. That's not a great one. That is a great one, that one. And look what happened, right? The reason that's a good one is because that candle close smashed through a previous accumulation break. What we're looking for is the market makers to build a position and then go, we are short. We want to be on the side of the banks, right? The banks are short there, no doubt about it. That move is not small. These are all little candles. That is a propulsion gap. Bang. We pushed down, they got on board. They tried to push back up into it. The banks went, don't be stupid. We're short 20 million. We ain't going long. We're going short. Banks are out somewhere, probably. That's not a good propulsion gap. Yeah? Because it's just a V shape. It could be classed as a good one. It depends how long you class an accumulation to be. Personally, I like long accumulation breaks because they're more powerful. But you could class that as a propulsion gap. There's no right or wrong. A load of these are going to fail, yeah? This one here, not really the greatest in the world. It held, but not very long. This one here, lovely accumulation break, smashed through it, didn't last, didn't work. So it doesn't, it doesn't mean they're going to work when they appear at all. I've just got into oil long, by the way. So we just pulled back down on oil into that area I was saying I want to get into, which was 88.80. So we were up here, weren't we, on M5? And I said, I don't want to jump in when we're all out there. While I've been talking, we've actually collapsed. So my stop's here. If we break this and get a reversal alert, I'm out of this trade. It's wrong. But this is kind of where I want to be buying, somewhere around here. And again, look at this propulsion gap. Not great, is it? But what did the propulsion gap do? Made a new high. It broke an area, previous area of potential resistance. So now what's going to happen here is the guys that made this move happen, they are either going to add to their position here, or they're not. They're going to lose. And if they lose, I'm out. Looks like they're losing at the moment, doesn't it? But yeah, so that's basically what they are. They're a battle between buyers and sellers. So there's 10 main banks and institutions that run this market makers. They control 90% of the volume that goes through the FX market. And this is why they work, because when you see a move this strong happening, that's not a particularly strong one, but when I see a strong move happening, one of two things happens. Either the banks will jump on board with the move, the other institutions, because they see a money-making opportunity to go with momentum, or they won't, because they will have a position the other way, which they will be fighting against. And these are the battles you see happening all the time. So, you know, this one here is a really good example. Yeah, we push down. So this is where, this candle here is where that propulsion gap formed. We push back up, the banks entered a second position. We push back up, we found more sellers. We push back up, we found more sellers. Yeah, they're defending and adding to this position. When we got down to here, likelihood is they all did what? Profit take. What? And this is again Bootcamp 101, right? Market moves up. To be able to take profit on that position, what have you got to do? Sell. Market moves back down again. Banks, dump, dump, dump. Get down to here. Made enough money, Bob? Yeah, we've made enough money. Okay, get out the position. Bob exiting his position. Did we sell more? No. Because why? Bob's out of his position. That short is exited. This is the exit from that short position. Now the market can do what it likes. So now we do what? Start a new propulsion gap. So this is the next institution going long. Could even be Bob, who went short there. He's flipped long. Is Bob going to defend his position? Yes. Right now, what's Bob done? Added. That wick here is potentially whoever started this move, Bob, Frank, John, whoever it is, adding to his position. So now what we're going to see is what? Market structure. Reversal alert, break of structure, new high, new low, high, low, high, higher low, higher high, market structure. Yeah, and this is why I use this indicator, because it ties in very nicely with the market reversal alerts indicator. When you get a reversal alert that creates a propulsion gap, and that propulsion gap gets held, what do you get? A W, or a reversal alert and retest. Quite often, a reversal alert retest will be in a propulsion gap. If I'll be able to find one. No propulsion gap there. I'm just going to flick through and see if I can find one. Yeah, that's kind of one. It's not particularly clean. So you can see the propulsion gap there, yeah? Yeah, so we've got the reversal alert from the reversal alerts indicator. We pushed up, we pulled back, rejection, rejection. Yeah, it's rejected what? The reversal alert block, which is what I call a reversal alert retest, which is your W pattern reversal. But we are also buying to defend this position. So the banks are stepping in and going, we're going long. And the others, institutions and everyone else is going, nah, we're going short. And he's going, nah, we're going long. This guy has got more money than this guy. This guy wins. That's all that's happening in the market, is a load of people are hitting buttons that way, a load of people are hitting buttons that way. Whoever's got the biggest amount wins. These propulsion gaps tell you where those orders are executed. That's what they do. The wide range bar is an order execution by an institution being defended. When we get back down to here, it's going to do one or two things. Bang or bang. We don't know, but they're never clean either. Yeah, like you said, why can't I go long there and put my stop there? You can do, but you'll find that a lot of the time it will do that, a lot of the time it will do that, a lot of the time it will do that, and then that. You're stopped out. So like any strategy or system, if you're going to use a WRB as your entry criteria and your stop placement, you're going to get stopped out sometimes. A lot of the times these will be tested to 50%. A lot of the times they'll be completed. That is a lovely entry signal short. Didn't work, but it's a lovely entry signal short. But, you know, it's the same as any indicator out there. All an indicator does is give you a signal to enter. You need a condition indicator to go with it to validate. So if you get down to a propulsion gap, yeah, and it is also a double bottom, and it was also a break of an accumulation, and also if the RSI was extended, confluence. So you've got to use it in confluence with everything else. The bigger the propulsion gap, that's not a propulsion gap. Again, that's a really good example of a propulsion gap that isn't a propulsion gap. That is a a big bar. That's a big candle, yeah. But there's no accumulation before it. The accumulation was there. That's the propulsion gap, really. Not very big. Yeah, look at this one. Didn't hold, did it? Or did it? Yeah. Just because we went through it doesn't mean the banks aren't buying up in this area. Again, support and resistance, they're zones, they're areas, they're rough places. This is just identifying big orders. That's all it does, is it just shows you big orders. So there's lots of ways to use it. Personally, I use it, and again, this is what I cover in the bootcamp. I use it as a target area. So let's say, for example, I'm looking to short pound yen now. First thing on my mind, whenever I take any trade, is always going to be, if I'm going to go short here, why am I going short and where's it going? If I haven't got a location for my short entry to go, I can't take the trade, because if, you know, and again, this is a common mistake lots of people make, is they get into trades because they get into trades. They don't get into trades because there's a reason for the trade. The reason this is going short is because we're sitting in an accumulation at the moment. I've got a short bias on the pound. This is actually a bad example because it's a yen. I'm actually long. But I'm looking for an accumulation break to come down and test a support area or a previous propulsion gap. So the banks that started this move quite substantially here left a lot of, think of it like warp signatures, Star Trek fans. Yeah, these are the warp signatures left behind. We come back, we find those, and off we go again. It's just, that's what they do. Propulsion gap. Banks bought it again. Bang. But they tend to act as magnets. The other reason for that is you get what's called unfinished business in propulsion gaps. More on the larger ones than the smaller ones. So if let's try and find an orphaned one. 4 hours probably the best. Yeah, so you got an orphan. You can't see it actually on the 4 hour. Let's pick. Want a yen pair. There you go. So here. So you get a big move, and then price moves away from it for quite a while. And depending on the time frame, it could be days, could be weeks, could be months, could be minutes if you're on M1 or M5. But price moves away. When this order happened, a lot of institutions would have been short on it and caught on the wrong side of the trade. They'll have unfinished business there, but they'll be in line with a longer term trend, and their goal will be to come and do the other side of their trade. So they'll have a short there and they need to put a long in down there to get out of it to make money. Yeah. So what you tend to find is when you get these ones where it doesn't quite get back to it quickly, it's what I call an orphaned gap or an orphan propulsion gap. The market will do its damnedest to get back and finish off that business that was done there. So you'll have what's called an imbalance in there, where you've got a lot of buy side activity but no sell side activity. So in order to complete that transaction, for every buyer there has to be a seller. If there's too many buyers and not enough sellers, there'll be unfinished business there. They come back and they finish their business. Yeah. And that tends to be on the older ones, which is why you find older propulsion gaps. Here is a good one. Right? Never came back anywhere near retesting that at all. We went away for a good week, and then we pulled back for a week, and then we accumulated, we came back, we finished business, and we went. They act as magnets. So when you see big ones, and I'm talking decent size, not the little tiddly ones, the little tiny thin ones you see. These ones, smaller propulsion gaps will tend to get tested a lot faster because the movement is weaker. So That's basically how they work. But use them how you see fit. I use them as a targeting mechanism, and I also use them as an entry mechanism. Yeah. So you know, here I didn't do this one yesterday, but we got the breakout. If you missed the entry there, your propulsion gap entry was where you should get in. Yeah, because and again here, look, so you missed the entry, and these are the best trades to take. Yeah, so you're getting in after the move, straight after the moves happen. So we got a lovely accumulation. London pushes into another propulsion gap, which has held multiple times. So sellers try again here to say, no, we want to go short. And the buyers are like, nah, there's way more of us than you. There's your entry. Look, that candle there is a rejection of that propulsion gap. That's where you're getting long. And look what happened. Ran into what? A propulsion gap. And they went, because there's a load of limit orders sitting there for whoever started that move, adding to their positions, wanting it to carry on because they're not out. What happens when you get out of a position? You puke. You have to exit your position. So if you're short there, to be able to get out of your position, you have to become a buyer. What does a buyer cause? A propulsion gap, because everybody that's puking on those orders is adding to the buying pressure, which means you get a new propulsion gap. Buyers, sellers. That's literally all it is. It's so overcomplicated. The markets. It's a buyer and a seller. Same as when you go and buy an apple. Yeah, there's a guy there selling apples. You want an apple, you buy an apple, right? There's an exchange of money and product. This is an exchange of currency. This is an exchange of a barrel of oil with a piece of money. This is an exchange of a US dollar with a Japanese yen. Yeah. This is an exchange of multiple stocks, a bucket of 40 stocks for money, a certificate. Yeah. So you're buying and selling stuff. That's literally all it is. Yeah. Big move up, sellers step in, buyers go, no, we've gone long, don't forget. So yeah, there you go. There's propulsion gaps. So, but that's all covered in the bootcamp. That's kind of what I've just covered there is kind of the bootcamp lesson, if you like. But they're a confirmation indicator, they're a target indicator, and yeah, I guess you could use it as a signal indicator if you wanted to. But like everything, it's all going to fail at some point as well. Just that's, you know, and this is why I don't use them as an entry signal as a position trader, because I'm looking for a different type of entry. I'm looking in for a sign of strength in my direction. So if I'm short the DAX, that's my reason to get in, because we've made a new low, we've broken structure. And if that structure doesn't hold and we go up, I'm looking for another break of structure a little bit later to build a position in the direction I'm looking for the market to move, which obviously is down in the DAX's case. So the propulsion gaps become a where we're going to go. And also I like the look of this because of that. Accumulation break. Again, go and read that website if you want to. It's a very, 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 very good strategy, but it's very, very hard to find any information. I don't know if I let me just have a quick look and see if I did I get any documentation on it. Let me just look in my folder. I've got a folder full of stuff. Analysis W. No, I've got no documentation on it on the wide range bar. So you can see if I've got something I can post like a document. But it's all on the site if you want to learn about it. But you will get stuck in for a long time. Just warning you, it's a rabbit hole, absolute rabbit hole, that website. But I have just explained the basics of it. That's everything you need to know about that massive sprawling website from the 80s. I just summed the whole lot up in 20 minutes there. Just download today's thingy video, crop it. That's it in a nutshell. That's my entire weeks of education of WRBs. That's all you need to know. That's why they're formed. That's how to use them. Here you go, look. Buyers, buyers, buyers. I don't know if it's going to hold or not, but if it doesn't, look what you're going to get, a reversal alert. It all ties in with the same stuff. So many indicators tell you the same thing. A WRB is a structure break. A reversal alert is a structure break. Yeah. You quite often get a WRB on a reversal alert if it's a strong one. Yeah. This tells you one candle before the WRB will. But, you know, it's all happening at the same time. Accumulation, break, retest, add. Didn't hold. Yeah. There's not enough buyers to hold it. There was eventually, but look at the battle. Look at all these buys, yeah? Look at this. Let's draw this on because this is a really good example. There's your propulsion gap, okay? And this is what I keep saying about support and resistance. People draw support and resistance lines. Support and resistance is not a line. It's an area where price turned. And that area you could class as being there or there. So somewhere around there, if price gets back up there, it might pop above it. It might just get below it. But somewhere around there is what I would class as resistance. This propulsion gap got bought there, 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 there. Yeah. This is all of this here is buying from the guys that started that move, adding to their position, going long, adding, 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 propulsion gap, bang. What is that move there? Everybody that shorted, 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 puking, stopped out, gone. That's literally how the market works. If you're short, you get to a point where you puke. I puked on Euro Swiss this week, didn't I? Too much. I got short squeezed. I got out. What happened when I got out? You know, it's just, that's what happens. Yeah. So this propulsion gap here was caused as a break. Didn't quite, did it? Break those highs. So yeah, I'd still class that as one. But it's an accumulation break. So what would I expect this whole area, and this is a good example of a combined WRB, I would class that whole area there as a WRB because it broke those highs and it broke those highs there. So this is kind of a combined zone. Somewhere in here, I would expect oil to find support. If it gets there, it might just go from here because they're adding here now. You can see they're adding here now. Yeah, because we can't make a new low, can we? Yeah, we're adding. They're adding to this long. The guys that started this are adding out of here. Your stop should be really there. Oh my God, I've just been stopped out on oil. Sorry, one sec. So I'm out of oil. Didn't work. We're going to get a reversal alert. So yeah, there you go. Don't like that. I forgot to put a stop on that. So I took a little bit more loss than I wanted to. So yeah, on that daily move, that's what we're looking for. So again, daily accumulation, break, somewhere in here. And again, going down on time frame by time frame, somewhere in here. Yeah, we're going to find support. So what can you do? Drop down to M15. Wait for price to move down. When you get a reversal alert, the next reversal alert, if that one doesn't hold, the next reversal alert, take it. You're in the propulsion gap. And again, the propulsion gaps get broken down into multiple smaller parts. And, you know, the market's a fractal. So when you see a massive daily propulsion gap, one propulsion gap, again, multi-time frame analysis, one propulsion gap. Drop down to H4. That one propulsion gap, fine-tuned, is kind of that. Drop down to hourly. That one propulsion gap started there, but you've also got a secondary propulsion gap there on the hourly. Drop down to M15. It's broken into 3 different propulsion gaps, but they're all within that big daily move that day, this day here, that made that massive, great big green candle. I'm just looking down inside as to where, so you can fine tune it. You could say, I'm going to take a reverse alert out of that one, which would be a 50% retracement on the big 4-hour propulsion gap, which is 2 gaps, but it's basically 2 candles back to back, 1 big gap. And if that then happens there, what have we got? Market structure. Lots of different uses. But at the end of the day, and this is why I'm called the market structure trader, everything works in structure. Everything has a structure, every instrument. People keep saying to me, does the market reversal alerts indicator work on crypto? Does it move? Yes. Then yes, it does. If stuff moves, it goes up and down. That's what we know. It goes up, it goes down, it moves sideways. That's all we know. And this has been doing that. Now it's not. Now it's doing that, potentially, isn't it? So we went from doing that, structure down, to breaking a high, and now potentially doing structure up. We don't know if that's going to hold. What we could be seeing here is, again, structure to the downside. We could be seeing, couldn't we? Nobody knows. No one knows. You know, and this is the thing. No indicator can tell you which way anything is going, because all an indicator tells you is what's happened in the past. Market structure reversal alerts indicator just tells you when something's happening now. Doesn't mean it's going to go up, or when that alert happens there, it's going to go down. What it means is structure's changed. We need to pay attention. But are we in a bear move now? Or are we in a bull move? I have no idea. Neither of you, neither of the banks, because there's 10 of them all fighting with each other, and depends on who is going to buy oil or sell oil moving forward. No one knows. And as soon as you accept the fact that you haven't got a clue, and again, there's a video on YouTube about it, one thing you know is you've got no control over the market. And there's only 2 things you know, up, down, and sideways, obviously. But that's it. We don't know. So all you've got to do is put positions in the market in line with where you think. At the moment, there's a lot of people short. Why? Because it's going down. Yeah, there's a lot of people thinking that's going to happen. There's also a lot of people thinking the bottom's in. Me being one of them. And Goldman Sachs. But I don't know, Goldman Sachs aren't right all the time, are they? They get things wrong. Lehman Brothers were right for a long time until they were wrong. They're not around anymore. Yeah. So just, you know, use every indicator as a tool, but how you use it will vary from person to person. A lot of people get in touch with me saying this is the best breakout indicator I've ever had. And my immediate reaction is it's not a breakout indicator, it's a reversal indicator. But hey, if you're using it for breakouts, brilliant. I'm personally using it for reversals. That's why I built it. You know, you find a use for any indicator. Oscillators, you know, so many people get in touch with me going, why do you do that with the RSI? Why don't you just buy it when it crosses the 50 line? They make money doing that. Good for you. You know, and absolutely right. When it crosses the 50, that happened. Well done. You get out when it gets there. You know, there's million ways to make money in the market. I show you the way that I do it, and then everyone will disagree and do it a different way. And then, you know, this is why you find all these fights in forums, which I find hilarious all the time. The trend traders fighting with the mean reversion traders. Somebody goes, gold's a long, buy it. And someone else goes, gold's a short, sell it. And then they have a fight about it. And then they realize one person's trading the M5 time frame and the other one's trading daily and going to hold it for 6 months. They're both right. But, you know, it doesn't matter. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I get into my positions, I manage my positions, and I bank it. That's it. End of the day, you're in charge of you. How you use indicators is up to you. You make the trades, you make the money, you lose the money. You're in control. It's your business. You've got no one else should be telling you what to do. That's why everybody trades. They want to become their own boss, don't they? Right. There you go. That's all I've got for you today. Oil, we are just coming down to support if you're interested in longing oil. I might have another crack down here. I'm going to see what price action does. Whoops. Here. So this reversal alert we had there, which is again a propulsion gap which they bought out of. We'll see what happens here. If we make a new low here, which it looks like we're just about to do, we may be having a little bit of a run down today, which wouldn't surprise me because we've had a couple of bull days. But we're obviously moving into symmetrical triangle territory now and contracting. So I would like to see an entry long out that propulsion gap. Quite where, I don't know. But I'll be watching this one this morning. And we'll see if that holds. There you go. So that propulsion gap, that reverse alert now is obviously gone, as you can see, because that is the new break of structure, because we just made a new low. But if we put a bullish engulfing, hammer in here, you see the limit orders trigger. And again, you know what I was saying a minute ago about how orders work. There's a load of limit orders sitting here, which we just saw trigger. Yeah, this is what this is. This is what everybody kind of missed. Well, I missed it actually for a number of years. I don't know if everybody else does, but I missed it for a long time. What is a shooting star? Yeah, a shooting star is when we run out of buyers. And basically all it is a load of limit orders that have been sitting in the market for absolutely ages triggering to stop the buying momentum. There's a load of limit orders sitting there placed by the institutions to stop any selling momentum. Why? Because they've gone long. Why? Because they broke out. We know that. We can see it on the chart. So we know there's a load of limit orders sitting there. Whether or not there's enough limit orders to propel price back up or not, we'll find out in the next half an hour. And that's why hammers and shooting stars form, because it's just limit order triggers. So we'll see if that holds. So again, if we push back down into here and we start mucking about, buy order at that propulsion, but that's not a propulsion gap. Again, accumulation. I class both of those as a propulsion gap. So if the sellers are going to win out, that's where we're going to move from. If the buyers are going to win out, this is where we're going to move from. Who's got the most orders? And that's the thing you can't tell. Nobody knows. And that's why we can't predict what's going to happen with market moving forward, because we don't know whether these guys that made that happen have got more orders than these guys. One of them has, and we'll find out at some point. But that's your job, is to take a trade based on risk, or to take a trade based on risk. It's your job, managing risk. Whether you're right or wrong is irrelevant. Whether you get the right direction or wrong is irrelevant. Whether you think it's this or that is irrelevant. What is relevant is when you're scalping, your risk is small. And if your idea is right, your reward is massive. That's how you make money as a scalper. Taking trades at logical areas with everybody else. Simple, isn't it? Sounds really simple. Try and execute it. That's where your brain takes over. And your brain is your worst enemy. That's why I hate scalping. I love scalping, but I hate it because it's really hard work compared to position trading, which is not. You know, I don't have to think about this stuff. I just deal with it. I'm either right or wrong. If I'm wrong, I deal with it. If I'm right, I bank it. You know, it's just such an easy way to trade, but you're never going to make as much money as a scalper. But then again, I'm not going to burn out because I'm staring at a screen 8 hours a day. Well, I do that as well, actually. So, you know, but I'm an idiot. Anyway. Right, that's all I've got for you today. I'll be back on Monday, same time. If you need anything, let me know. If you found that useful, give us a thumbs up. And yeah, if you've that's a really good sort of lesson on WRBs. That's all you need to know. If you want to go and hunt around their website, go and do it. But pretty much that is the crux of WRBs, and everything you see on that website will be a lot more in depth into them and why they form and how they work and stuff. But that's what I took out of it. So I think that's all you really need to know. But you make your own decision. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, feel free. I'll be back on Monday, same time, 7:50. News-wise today, we've got nothing to worry about until 1:30. CAD GDP, PCE for the US dollar. We'll get some movement off of those likely. Possibly not dramatic, but apart from that, there's no other news. We've got more earnings coming as well. Aftermarket. Sorry. Oh, no, I haven't got aftermarket. We've got pre-market today. So mainly when the market opens, it'll be reacting to Amazon and Apple, and it's really a case of which of those is going to win out. At the moment, it looks like obviously it's a bit bearish. So I'll probably be looking for shorts at the open. I don't know. I'll see what the open does, basically, which is what you do. All right, have a good one, guys. I'll be back Monday. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. I'll be in there as usual. And hopefully have a good, profitable day. If I close anything out, I'll let you know. At the moment, nothing's really going anywhere. So I'm not planning on closing anything out until I got some profits. So I will let you know in the Telegram group if I do anything, if I take any new trades. But otherwise, I will see you Monday. Have a good weekend.